Welcome back to Cliffy's Kitchen, friends. Today we'll be cooking famous oxtail. It has been marinating overnight. To get that part going, I'm going to introduce you to my wife. She's gonna take over the captaincy of the ship from here and give you a good treat with cooking this oxtail.
Hi guys, I'm Anne.
Right, this is Anne-Marie and she's my co-worker in the kitchen, so enjoy working with her.
Okay guys, so as Cliffy mentioned, I'm going to be taking you through the preparation of the oxtail today. Oxtail is something that many people love to eat. It's one of my favorite meals, so I love cooking oxtail. Knowing how to do it at home yourself, it makes a big difference. Let's get on with the process. Alright, so for our oxtail today, we have, of course, we can't do without the beans. We have some butter beans here prepared, the tin butter beans, okay? We have some bell pepper, we have onions all chopped up, and of course our carrots, scotch bonnet pepper, which we're not going to cut up the scotch bonnet. It's, we're going to just drop it in there whole just for the flavor. A little black pepper, and just in case we don't get it as brown as we'd want, I also have some browning, all right, which we can add a little if needed, all right, but we'll see as we go ahead. All right, so Cliffy showed you guys how he seasoned the oxtail. This has been marinated overnight and this is what it looks like now. So this is all ready for cooking. So first, if you notice, we have a lot of the seasoning all over it. We don't want to brown the oxtail with all of this seasoning. So what we want to do is, scrape these off and put the oxtail in a separate bowl before we put it in the pot for browning. Okay, so this is our oxtail. All the seasoning has been scraped off and it's now ready to be browned. And over here in this bowl, this is where it was before, we have all that seasoning that was on the oxtail. So what we're going to do, we're going to set this aside, and when we're ready to cook it down, then we're going to add this back. Okay, so I'm going to add a little olive oil just to baste the pot. I don't want to put too much because the oxtail is already fatty and we don't want too much oil in the oxtail when we're done. Let that heat up. This is on high heat. We're gonna let that pot get really hot, and then I'm gonna add the oxtail and start browning it. All right, so it's all ready now to add the oxtail. Let's go. So what we're gonna do is allow it to brown on one side, and then we're gonna keep stirring until we really get everything all brown. Alright, what I like to do at this point is I don't want to have my oxtail burning on the bottom, so you start, just give them a little stir, and then I'm gonna cover the pot because while it's browning, it's also, start cooking. So let me just cover it for a little bit, and it's gonna spring some liquid for itself. So we'll just go back to the oxtail in, maybe after about 5 minutes. Keep turning it because we want it to be nice and brown. Okay, so now I'm gonna, if you notice it start browning at the bottom of the pot, it's now time to, just tip a little water, and let's do that. Not too much. Okay. Right, so we're gonna cover it and allow it to just brown. Okay. Okay, so our oxtail has been browning for almost half an hour, and if you notice, the color is coming together nicely. And remember now, during that period of browning, you need to keep, stirring your oxtail, getting it off the bottom of the pot, getting that brownness from the bottom of the pot onto the meat. All right, so it's important to keep stirring And I said before, we keep, you know, tipping a little water from time to time. What I like to do is at this point, just add a little boil, you know, have some water being boiled and just tip a little in there. Alright, we don't want to use cold water to, you know, mess with the temperature. We want to keep it the heat, because we really want our oxtail to be nice and brown. Alright, so we're gonna cover it up. I would say maybe another 10 minutes might be good to start adding back our seasoning. Okay, alright, so if you notice how nice and brown our oxtail is so far, this looks pretty good now. So it's about time we add back our seasoning that we had left back, and then we're gonna put some more liquid in, put some more water, and then allow the oxtail to really cook down to a nice stew. All right, by then it should be falling off the bone. So let's start by adding back the seasoning that was left back. Okay, so we do this. We want all this nice flavor to come out in our meat. Alright, so we're going to add back. And at this point too, as I said, we're going to put some more liquid, because we want the meat to be covered with liquid at all times, because that's how we're going to have it cooking down nice and tender. Okay, so we have about 2 cups of hot water in here, and I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of browning, because we want the oxtail to be nice and brown. Okay, so I'm gonna add just a little to the water here, about a teaspoon. We're gonna stir that in like so. All right, notice how brown this is, and then we're gonna pour it onto the oxtail. Okay, so if you notice, we have our meat covered with liquid. This will allow everything to boil down nice and juicy and tender. Okay, so we're going to leave this covered for say another 15-20 minutes, and then we come back and see what it looks like. Alright, so I'm going to cover the pot, and very important, I'm also going to lower my heat to medium. Alright, because we don't want anything to get burnt right here, and we want it to take time and really simmer. Our oxtail has been cooking for, I would say, about an hour, and just look at it. This is how it looks. It's nice and tender now. Let me just show you. I'm going to use a fork and show you. See that? Yeah, so this is how we want it to look. This is how we want it to be, right? Actually falling off the bone. Okay, so first I'm gonna add the carrots, because the carrots are gonna take a little longer to cook. If you notice, it's not yet time to add the beans. Alright, so the carrots go first, allow them to cook a little for about 5 minutes, and then we'll add our beans. Alright, so let's do this. And I'm also going to just add our bell pepper and the rest of the onions. This is going to give it a nice finished taste. Alright, onions next. Alright, now this looks really good, and remember, don't stir too hard, because we don't want the meat to be breaking apart. So just get those carrots, kind of get them into the gravy, and they're going to be cooked in, I would say, 5 minutes. So we're going to cover it up, and I'll be back. Okay, so let's see what our finishing looks like. That's really looking great. It's been cooking with our carrots for the past, I would say, 5 minutes, and these carrots should be nice and tender by now. So what I'm gonna do finally is to add my beans. Okay, remember we said we didn't want to add the beans too quickly because we don't want them to break apart. So let's just add the beans. Alright, what is oxtail without beans, guys? There we go. Alright, and remember, just easing them in, tenderly easing them in. We don't want our meat to be breaking apart. We want those nice juicy pieces of oxtail. Okay guys, so just when we thought we were all done, everything was added, not yet. According to Cliffy, King Scotch bonnet. Alright, so we're going to place this Scotch bonnet pepper right in the center here, just for the flavor, okay, not for the heat. So we're going to put that there and cover the pot for, give it another 5 minutes and we'll be good. Okay, so the oxtail is actually done, and look how nice it looks. It's nice, it's tender, it's juicy, has nice gravy on there, and you know, our vegetables are cooked to perfection. So why not take a taste? I'll tell you how it tastes. Let's do this. Wow, the fork just went right through that oxtail, guys. Look at that, juicy. Wow, let me taste. Couldn't want it better than this.
Thanks for watching this video, guys. We trust you benefited a lot from it.
Yeah, and there we have it. The oxtail looking nice, it's looking juicy. I'm sure, you know, just following the steps we gave you today, you'll really, you know, make a nice oxtail and enjoy.
And as we always say, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. We appreciate that, and it keeps the channel going. Thank you a lot. We'll see you in our next video.
Bye bye.